Hello, hello, hello. This is Aurelia Davis, the educator's educator, coming to you on a Monday night, Monday, the last Monday in April. Oh my goodness, May is right next door. The month of May is right next door. These months are just going by so fast. I just hope everybody is doing well. Teachers, you're still close to the finish line. Just keep it going, keep it going. But if you have not gone over to my website yet, aureliadavis.com, feel free to do so. Click on the Thrive Retreat. We're still registering people for it. That's to take place in Tulum, Mexico, July 30th through August 4th. July 30th through August 4th. The Thrive Retreat. The Thrive Retreat. Just hope everybody's doing well out there. I'm coming to you tonight because I want to a story about something that I participated in. So it's really my story, but it's a couple other people that belong to the story also. But when I retired in 2012 from Chicago Public Schools, I had the desire to continue working in the field of education, not necessarily as an educator, but as an advocate for education. As an advocate for education, I wanted to be that person to speak up for teachers, which I've been doing. I wanted to be that person to speak up for the children that teachers taught, but any field of education. And of course, I was particularly very passionate about Black and Brown children because I believe they are the ones that are sometimes given the short end of the stick. I'm just going to say it. They're given the short end of the stick. I don't apologize for saying that. And so, in the neighborhood where I grew up, I attended school. I attended elementary school. I attended upper grade center, and I attended high school, all in my neighborhood. And that neighborhood was North Lawndale. And North Lawndale is a West Side neighborhood in the city of Chicago, close to downtown. But anyway, what happened is that I found myself attending some neighborhood community meetings. That's what I'm going to call them, neighborhood community meetings. And eventually, what I found out is that one of the previous mayors had set up community action councils within the city of Chicago, community action councils within the city of Chicago. And basically, these community action councils were put in place to build neighborhoods back up where they basically had some where they hadn't had any kind of investments in the last couple of years. They were put together to build back up these particular neighborhoods in the areas of housing, in the areas of jobs, in the areas of resources, in the areas of education, because these are basically the tools, and these are basically the stakeholders that make strong communities. These are the stakeholders that make strong communities: churches, housing, education, resources, businesses. This what makes strong. These are the things that make strong communities. And during the time when I was growing up in North Lawndale, we had all of those stakeholders. We had strong schools, we had strong churches, we had strong businesses, Black owned businesses, resources. We had resources, libraries, you name it, we had it. Well, North Lawndale, over the years, there had been a disinvestment. In other words, there were not many investments coming back into the neighborhood itself where I lived. And as I lived there, and um, I continued to live there, and after moving out, I would go back because my church was in the area, and I could just see the vacant lots and the empty homes and whatever. And where at one time there were schools that were so full that because my kindergarten met on the stage. When I attended kindergarten, we met on the stage because the schools were so overcrowded. The schools were so overcrowded. They had continued to build schools in the neighborhood, but at the same time, eventually over the years, things basically just sort of disappeared. I'm just going to say it disappeared. And the disinvestment especially happened within our schools and within our communities. So you're talking about crime, you're talking about poverty, just all kinds of things that basically took over the neighborhood. That will take over neighborhoods to basically break neighborhoods down so they really are non-existent. And so what ended up happening is that I joined the CAT organization in this Community Action Council. I became a member, and the that was just a one of the programs coming out. But at the same time, the community, it was called the NLCCC Community Council. NLCCC standing for North Lawndale and Community Action Council. And then there were subcommittees under this particular name itself. And one of the subcommittees was the Education Committee. And of course, being education being my priority and being my expertise, that's the committee I joined. That's committee I joined. I can say as of today, I have been a part of that committee for over 7 years, because we started out with a goal and a dream, and we were not going to stop until we reached that goal and we reached that dream. And that's the North Lawndale STEAM Academies. Well, this this live is basically telling you about how we went about going to achieve these academies in North Lawndale. And it was hard work. It was proposals and different things put in place. And what we wanted to do, what we felt, well, first, I'll tell you what the problem was. The problem was that the majority of the children that lived in this particular neighborhood in North Lawndale were leaving North Lawndale to go to schools outside of North Lawndale. I'll say that again. The children that lived in North Lawndale were leaving the community where they lived to travel to schools outside of North Lawndale. Now, there were still good schools in North Lawndale. I'm going to give credit to all of those schools that stayed open, but then at the same time, the as far as the choices of what kind of program you want your child to be in, that option was not there. That option was not there. And that's how our committee came up with the idea of STEAM schools: science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, coming up with STEAM schools. Our first our first start was to basically build a brand new building, build a brand new school in the neighborhood. Well, we met some controversies about that, because if we were going to build a brand new building, then most likely some other schools would have to be closed. So we came upon, and then we would meet and meet and meet, and we had set up proposals. And the good thing about all of this is that we had actual stakeholders, we had partners that were willing to go into this particular endeavor with us, and they have basically been in place for the duration of the whole project itself, for the duration of the whole project itself. So our main goal was basically to give the children of North Lawndale choices of schools that they would like to attend within the community where they lived. I'll say that again. Our basic goal was to give the students of North Lawndale, or the children of North Lawndale, choices of programs they would like to go into right within the neighborhood where they lived. And we felt that it was important for the grades preschool through 12th grade for children to be able to attend preschool, first grade, elementary school, upper grade center, and then go through high school within the neighborhood where they lived, within the neighborhood where they lived. And so that meant that what would end up happening is that there needed to be elementary schools that fed into a high school. Think about it. Elementary schools that fed into a high school. So when we were not able to get the brand new building, we decided to work on the buildings that were already in the neighborhood themselves and connect them to a particular high school. Well, it just was not an overnight situation. It did not happen overnight. It took a lot of planning. It took us sitting at tables and making, building up proposals, because the educational leaders that were in this particular committee knew exactly how to do that. And they did a great job. I'm just giving accolades to all of my partners and my educational leaders that was a part of this program. And so they knew that we had to develop a proposal that would have some meat attached to it, that would have some objectives attached to it, that would have some meaningful goals that were in place. And we felt that if we selected two STEAM schools or two elementary schools, those elementary schools could easily feed into one high school in their neighborhood so that the children would receive the quality education they deserved right where they lived. They would receive the quality education they deserved right where they live, from preschool all the way through 12th grade. It happened for me when I attended, while I was going to school in North Lawndale. I was able to attend a quality elementary school. I attended a quality upper grade center of 7th and 8th grade, and I attended a quality high school. And from there, I was able to go into the field of education and received a bachelor's degree and later my master's degree. So that just proves right then and there that you can get something, you can get a quality education in the neighborhood where you live. You should not have to travel, even if that's a choice you want. It's okay, but you should not have to travel outside of your neighborhood to get the quality education that you deserve. And the good thing about it, that this seems to be now a novel idea to bring back quality education to the neighborhood where children live. To bring back quality education to the neighborhood where children live. That means that there's going to have to be some investments in the buildings and the schools in that particular neighborhood for them to be able to match up to any school on the north side or east side or the south side. In other words, I put John Brown School right next to John Mason School, and you have the same schools. One is on one side of the city and the other one is on the other side of the city. But if you put them side by side, they have the same resources, they have the same classrooms, they have the same programs within states by each other, but one is on one side of the city and one is on the other side of the city. So that's what we set out to do. And it has been a long process, but I'm going to stop here because there's more information as to how we put this particular program and proposal together. It took a lot of hours. It took a lot of collaboration. It took a lot of stakeholders coming together to see exactly what it looks like. As me being an educator, I know what I wanted to see. I was able to give my own input as to what that preschool through 3rd grade should look like. And even if those particular students were going into a STEAM academy, they had to be prepared as early as preschool. So I thought about my STEM cards. They had to be prepared as early as preschool for them going into that particular type of program. Because once you think about the program of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, it's not just the titles and not just the words themselves, but the children have to be built, have to be indoctrinated as far as what those particular terms mean. And therefore, reading needs to be in place, math needs to be in place. And so I was able to sit at tables with individuals and put my input as to what a kindergartner looks like, and what a 1st grader looks like, and what a 2nd grader and a 3rd grader looks like. And then we had science teachers on board, and we had art teachers on board. What does the art program look like, And so we were able to just fill in and put in as much information as possible to build the proposal. So the first thing was the proposal. The first thing was the proposal. The next thing was selling that proposal to the Board of Education to let them know that this is something that we not needed, but something we demanded. I'll come to you tomorrow and give you a little bit more information. This is Aurelia Davis, the educator's educator, coming to you on a Monday afternoon, talking about the North Lawndale STEAM Academies. Have a nice evening. Take care.